Hello, everyone, and welcome to Approaching the Pros, a college football production focused on different college players from the time they head to college and the paths that their careers end up taking as they get ready to approach the pros themselves. I'm your host, Andrew Woodruff. You can find me on Twitter or X by searching at underscore or Debbie Scouts. Uh, Feels good to finally be back on the mic and can't do it by myself. So today we've got a special guest, Matt. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
Little one started crawling today, so for the past hour, we've been learning, watching, see how that feels. So great day so far.
It only gets worse from there, man.
Yeah, we're baby proofing tomorrow when she goes to daycare. But before we jump into this, for the listeners and anyone watching this, we're going to be breaking down a C2C league that Matt was kind enough to come join and take an orphan for this league, and we're going to kind of go through our rosters, our thought process with our picks, and then we're going to pull up the board for everybody to see, and we're going to kind of go through each round, talk what we like, surprises, just where we feel like. We're going to talk about an hour. But before we get into that, Matt, you've been working hard, man. I've been seeing you grinding over here. Share with the people, what have you been up to?
Man, I recently I sold my business before I was working a lot. I was a CEO of a business, electrical contractor business. I recently sold off majority stake, got a pretty penny off of it, and then I decided to take some time off, spend with the family, and now I do a lot of content actually, but yeah, it's kind of my hobby to an extent.
Yeah, dude. How many articles are you up to? It's got to be close to 100 now.
I started 2 months ago writing on Substack, and I think I'm up to 96 articles.
Man, special plans for number 100?
I don't know. It's all the same to me. I just enjoy it, and I just love giving people what they want to see. That's just my goals.
I understand. Well, if anyone's wanting to check it out, again, go to Substack, dynastymattyice. Find it, subscribe. We're almost close to, I know, 200 subscribers. You're trying to get there by the end of the month. Like, we should be able to hit this. A couple more people will sign in and join up with you.
Yeah, I checked today, and I think I'm at 183. So I'm
We got to
17.
get you there.
I'm 17 away. I'm actually 3 followers away on Twitter from 2,800. When I first started all this, I was at like 2,500, so it's been a crazy growth.
Hey, share what the people want. They come find you. All right, so we're going to kind of turn it over real quick. Let's jump into it. I don't want to hold you forever. I'm going to go ahead and add your roster up here real quick. Just give us, again, it's a orphan, so we're not expecting perfect. Give us the highlights real quick. What stood out to you when you took this team?
When I took the team, I really didn't even look at it, to be honest. When you offered it to me, I just took it anyways, just to be a good friend. Um, the one thing that stood out to me was, I mean, it has my favorite player on it, obviously, Wayshawn Parker. So I had to add some more of that, and the wide receiver group was really good. Um, the quarterback group was a little hesitant. I didn't really like all the CFF assets that it had. So when I went to the draft, I knew I had to get some high upside players to counteract that and to build a team that can compete this year and in the NFL level.
I understand. Well, as you said, get into the draft. So let's talk about that. If we sit there and we swap this over to your draft, while I'm pulling it up, go ahead and share with us who was your first round pick.
My first round pick was the one that you did not like at all because I took Bryson
I
Watson.
like, but at the same time, don't.
Yeah, I mean, you like him, but I was surprised he was still available, and I needed running back help. And the way the board fell, I just kind of had to just go ahead and get my guy.
All right, so Bryson Washington, your guy. That's fair. I get it. Can't be salty. What's your expectations for him as he goes into this year?
I'm hoping to get running back one production out of him. Um, I know there's been a big argument about if he's a NFL talent. I mean, currently I see him as a day three. I mean, he does still have 2 years of eligibility, so he could bump up. But if he declares this year, I don't see him going anywhere up to a day three pick. maybe late day 2 if a team's desperate. But
Right, well, that's fair. I'll add to it a little bit. He didn't play the first couple of games, and then he didn't get a full-time role until about halfway through the season. So to end up over 1,000 yards plus another 200 receiving, you've got that locked in, and you know he didn't even get a full-time role last year. I think that's a grand slam with this first overall. Well, this first round pick 6, of course. What about third round? I noticed again you didn't have a second round pick on this orphan, Malik Washington. What led you to taking him over here?
well, I was surprised he was still available actually at this pick because most of the subs I've did he's went in the second. I just wanted to get my high upside quarterback. Apparently he's getting some steam around starting this year. I haven't really listened too much to it, but if he starts, it helps me a lot. But if you look at my draft down below, you'll see that I took another couple quarterbacks to help me out anyway. So if he don't start, it ain't gonna hurt me at all.
Well, all right, this is your draft. You want to go ahead and let's talk about those quarterbacks. Next one, you got Marshall Reed back in round 5.
I think he's going to have a really good year. I wasn't high on him too much, but I can't knock it. Taking him in a fifth and a supplemental. I mean, he does have that quarterback. I have him as a quarterback 2 upside. I don't see him as a quarterback 1 overall, but I do see him being a fantasy relevant cornerback this year.
Yeah,
And then,
again, you weren't done there. So what else did you try and add boost up that CFF
and
stuff?
I took my favorite supplemental quarterback. I think I've taken him at least 60 times this year so far. Maverick McIver. I don't know how to say his name truly. I watched the spring game. In 5 possessions, he threw 5 touchdown passes. I think he's going to be a absolute steal. I feel like him and the guy below him, Tucker Gleason, are going to be quarterback 1. They're probably going to be top 5 quarterbacks at CFF. And to get them both in a supplemental draft is just insane.
I love it, man. About to say, getting Western Kentucky, we know they've got a back history of producing right there with Bailey Zappi, of course, and some others. Gleason, as a Mississippi State fan, I just couldn't do it to myself. You know, he whooped up on us once. I can't be adding that to my roster.
Nah, I get it. As you can just tell by the way this draft's laid out. You could tell it's probably one of my drafts just by the players taken.
Yeah. Speaking of, who else you get?
My Malcolm Simmons is another one that I really, really like this year. I feel like he's going to fit into that. I don't know how. It's going to be a weird room because you got Jackson Arnold coming in, got Eric Singleton coming in, and then who's the other guy on the outside? I
Well,
think.
you got Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman.
Oh, Cam Coleman. How can I forget Cam Coleman? But I think I'm not 100% sure. I think is Simmons playing the slot or is Singleton going to be playing the slot? I think it might be Singleton. He's smaller. Ain't he smaller? He's like 5'10".
Singleton.
He's 5. One of them's 5'10". He might be 6 foot. He might be a bigger, but
Let's look real quick. Well, I know there was another one. It was Wallace, wasn't it? Also coming over from Penn State. I know you were asking who else was there.
is it Harrison Wallace? Is that his name?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but yeah, I'm about to say it is a little bit of a crowded room. Singleton is 5'11", 190, so
I
decent
think
size.
strictly slot. I mean, he probably played outside of Georgia Tech. Or was that where he was at, Georgia Tech?
Yep, that's the one.
I feel like he is strictly a slot in the SEC. He might get killed on the outside, to be honest, but I don't know how big Simmons is, but he had a productive year last year. Pretty much, I have a trend going with this. I like to early take my guys who are Devi upside that I see actually being on my NFL roster, and then as it slowly trickles down, start going into CFC assets.
Right, I understand that. So where does we already talked about Reed? So let's jump over to round 6. You took Dallas Smothers, running back for NC State.
He
How do you
doesn't
feel about
fit.
him?
He doesn't fit into my role of a Devi asset. He's more of a CFF that has high upside. Um, I think he's going to benefit well from Cedric Bailey being able to run. It kind of like it reminds me of like a room that RG3 and Alfred Morris kind of thing, like where he benefits off of a running quarterback. I don't think he's that very good, but
He's efficient though.
he's efficient, but I don't think he's very good. And I think with the Cedric Bailey ability to scramble will help him get open holes that will lead to higher efficiency for him. I have him as a running back 2 this year, um, but I could see him bumping up to like a low end running back 1 with production.
I'll say, yeah, that production, touchdowns, of course. Where's NC State after last season? I don't hate that. Colorado is this next guy. Is he your receiver 1 for Colorado?
I hate him.
So talk us through.
I loved him last year. I actually listened to Austin talk about that room off of Austin Nace off Campton's Canton, and he made me literally hate him. I know this. We did this up super early, and I regret
We
this.
did.
I regret this pick. I do think he's going to be the wide receiver 1 there, but I don't see him being very productive. I think this is more of a hold, and hopefully he gets like some NFL buzz. I don't see him being 1,000-yard receiver this year. Probably not even a wide receiver 3.
Yeah, probably not.
Especially not with Caden Salter throwing him the ball. I don't like that room at all. I don't like anybody in that room.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll have to circle back around it from my side. Winston Watkins, I wasn't super familiar with this one. So walk me through the Ole Miss receiver you took next round afterwards.
When I did my recruiting, he scored high on like when watching film, and I don't like how he fits in the room. But at this point, I just took him as a high upside. I mean, he scored really high. I think he was like a top 15 wide receiver for me from this class.
Wow.
So I took a shot on him. Just pretty much just a high upside pick. If it fails, it fails.
Hey, I get that. I mean, again, they did lose Trey Harris, Jordan Watkins, Antoine Wells Jr., brought back Caden Lee, and then they added what's his name? Deshaun Stribling.
Traveling.
Yeah. So I expect that to be the top 2, and then it's
I don't think
where's it falling behind?
I don't think he'll play this year. He might get limited snaps, but I think he's going to be a year 1-0, which is never good. But he could get in like late in the bowl game or something like that, because I don't think they're going to be very good as a team overall. He might be able to hit it kind of like Josiah Trader did last year.
Josiah Trader missed it by like 8 yards.
He missed it.
Yeah, but just super unfortunate. But again, he did play 12 games. It wasn't until that bowl game he went off. Also, I remember I said Harrison Wallace earlier. It wasn't Auburn. It was Ole Miss he went to. So
there's another starter. So
right.
Yeah, the only way he plays here is injuries. Then I assume
injuries are blowouts, and we'll have to see what that looks like. Terrence Carter, are you a believer? Tight end 1.
I'm a believer, but a low tight end 1. I was a believer last year. I actually recommended him, I think it was week 6, on my waiver claims to take this guy. And he didn't let me down the rest of the season, but he'll probably let me down this year. I'm gonna put a tight end low end tight end 1 on him, but he'll probably end up finishing like a tight end just because I don't see any good tight ends this year. Like, I hate to be that person, but we ain't gonna have another Warren, Boardingham, Fannin. Well, I don't even know why I threw Boardingham in there. He's been not good at all, but Fanning.
Yeah, I was going to say, Boardingham don't count, but Fannin was good. You had Loveland, everybody was hyped about, which injuries. And
then you had Warren, of course, Michigan. The all-around guy that scored 30 points a game I just don't see that this year with tight ends at all. You might get 12 to 15 points. That's probably cap on every tight end that's out there right now.
Hey, we'll talk about my guy in a second. I'm cool with him getting me 12 to 15 points, and he helps out CJ Bailey. Miami fan, come on. What's up with this next pick, man?
I love him. I, it's not even just a Miami bias. I know a lot of people don't like this guy, but I love him. He's a tall, big receiver that's fast, jump balls. He's something the room needed really bad. He kind of reminds me of Isaiah Horton and who they just lost. Um, I think he might be a worse route runner, but when Isaiah Horton came in, he was a horrible route runner as well. So I think this dude, he's going to start year one.
Man,
And
who would stop him?
I
Like the
think
depth chart,
right
awful.
now it's C.J. Daniels, JoJo Trader, and I think the tight ends like Ray Joseph or someone else. But I think Joshua Moore is going to be in there for conversations. I'm not a big fan of C.J. Daniels, but
Not either.
I think he has to play at this point, considering he transferred over.
But to be fair, he transferred from Liberty to LSU, and everybody said the same thing. That didn't work out. So is Miami going to be any better? We'll have to see on that part. But I was going to say, tight end, you had Elijah Lofton. Him and Mark Fletcher are your top two returning weapons out there. And Mark Fletcher, we know, is a running back. Ray
Yeah.
Joseph, we'll see, right? He didn't even get to crack 100 yards. Like that's right below it.
They also added that transfer running back, Tamar Brown, who I really, really like, but it's just a crowded room who's not, I don't see him breaking the rotation. So
It's going to be tough. Fletcher's established. He's more of that grinder, plotter, first and second down. Lyle's got the explosive factor.
At back, kind of, he's going to.
But he's gained weight. So he's not a little satellite tiny back. He does have some weight. He might get some more reps.
You know who would fit perfect in this room? Chris Johnson Jr., but he transferred out, so.
Yep. Well, go ahead and finish it up. I see we got two more picks for you real quick.
Oh, yeah. Then I got Jermaico Green, the guy that I've been, hyped up about since I watched his film. He's an all-around back, catch passes. He's kind of underrated. I think he is a 3-star. I haven't seen many people taking him in subs. The people who do take him do tag me on Twitter or X, and they send me all their screenshots, and I do appreciate that. He's kind of, I think he's going to be a year one stud. I think he's going to take over that room. I know they have Tamarian Harden who transferred over, and I think Chris Johnson Jr. is there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them being able to keep him off the field. He's too good of an asset for them and a really, really good running back. So I do not see them being able to keep him off. Even if he's a running back too, behind Harden, I do think he'll hit the field this year and will be productive.
I agree. He's got a good running game. I worry about his size, of course, and his receiving background.
Yeah,
Didn't show it a lot, but
big, tiny for a reason.
And, there's always that fine balance, right? You don't want to add too much weight because you lose that explosive factor, but a little weight would kind of help protect the body.
Well, I think he'll add weight in college. Most prospects do. They have to get on their health program and they start adding weight and get to a standard where they want to be at.
I agree with that. And the last one, Baylor receiver.
Josh Cameron, I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver this year for Baylor. Sawyer Robinson has to throw the ball to somebody, and why not? It had to be Cameron. I mean, I don't know who else is in that room. I know they added Taz Williams, who came in from the recruiting. I'm not 100% sure who else is there. I think they added. There's an Alabama. Wasn't there Alabama wide receiver that went there?
Yes. Let me look him up real quick using Campus Canton return in production. Let's see. So Josh Cameron, of course, you wouldn't be upset about Michael Trigg being there. Kobe Prentice is the receiver you're thinking about, though.
Kobe Prentice, yeah, I don't think he's good either. So I mean, Cameron's probably the best one in the room. I think Trigg is dead. I don't believe in him anymore. His injuries and has added up, and I just don't see him being that guy anymore. And Cameron's is very efficient, and I do think he has NFL upside. Maybe late upside, but he could be like a round 4 pick this year. I think I compared him to. I can't remember who I compared him to based on the when I was doing my Devi. I was trying to make a Devi model, but he popped up. I think it was Keenan Allen or someone like that who's like a possession receiver. And I could see him fitting into some teams' roles in the NFL.
Okay. Well, so that's definitely one to keep an eye on.
But yeah, that's my draft. I tried to make my team overround to compete this year. Normally, when I take an orphan, it depends on how you look at your team. If you think you compete year one, go for it. If not, just go into full rebuild. Um, the draft overall was a good draft, and I think this will be a good year to compete for everybody.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll say I'll try and breeze through mine real quickly so we can get over to the draft board. I know a lot of people like seeing these results, and I think it'd be fun for us to kind of just break it down round by round, see what we notice. Quarterbacks, I felt pretty decent. You know, had Lagway, Mateer, Hoover off the bench, Jennings, Beck were off the bench. I end up adding a little bit to it during the draft. Running back, rolling back, Jonah Coleman, which I was surprised he returned, but not upset by this at all. LJ Martin, I thought that was pretty good. Bothwell, I grabbed last year, so I was enjoying that. Of course, got my boy Aeneas Williams. I believe I had Braylon Russell at the time. Not a whole lot. I had my few older running backs all move up like Devin Neal and such. Receiver, Eugene Wilson. Let's hope he's back healthy. Andrell Anthony, you know, we'll take that stab in the dark. We'll see what happens. Malachi Fields kind of worked out. His name's getting buzzing right there. Chris Hilton, will this finally be the year? You know, well, probably not. So he'll probably sit his butt on the bench for me, you know. Dane Key. Trying to make sure I don't leave off anybody. And tell me, I'm pretty sure I did this wrong. Damon Ward's he's moved on, isn't he?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. There's gonna be my first drop when I make a cut and get a waiver claim.
It's hard
Got
to
ATUs.
it's hard to get them all when you go through because I've been finding them on all my teams, just randomly going through, and I'm like, that dude moved up, and was he still on my team? But
Hmm.
it happens.
Oh yeah. Not stressing it again. We get 8 waiver claims. He'll be an easy cut. Find the first guy I like. Tight end. I like Justin Jolie. So, you know, I like CJ Bailey. I think that pairs well together. Year 2 of them working, getting that chemistry. Bailey's not a freshman anymore, so he should know the system. Jolie's got a history of producing every single year. Hey, like you said earlier, if he gives me 12, 15 points, rock on. I'm cool with this.
Do you think Bailey's a good passer, though? Do you think he'll
Yes.
be able to get the ball to Jolly?
Yes. About to say, I got an article kind of breaks it down. His second half of the season, it's a lot like a rookie in a NFL level. You see that growth, that step up. And I mean, even his first game was against Clemson. He wasn't bad if you actually go look at the
He had
stats for
a
Clemson.
really good game. Like his whole team didn't, but he did. Like his stats look good, and I thought he
Mm-hmm.
played very well. It was just people don't talk about that when they get beat that bad, but you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm about to say he did what he could. Nobody expected him to play. Grayson McCall was supposed to be the guy. Got knocked out with a concussion and just kind of ended that career unexpectedly. So you know it threw him in as a true freshman. He honestly, I'll go ahead and say it real quick. His season was on par with Dylan Raiola. Raiola,
That's
everybody has his top 10 guy.
that's not saying much.
Bailey is not, but where's Raiola at? He's in the top 10.
Well,
Bailey was slightly better or equal, and you're getting him at a discount.
true. I mean, Rayola's obviously his stock is going down. Um, we're actually
And
doing a startup right now, and he hasn't even been taken through 3 rounds. So
that's fine with me.
I mean,
Raiola also came in expected to be the starter. Bailey was told to sit behind the scenes and learn.
didn't we talk about this last year? I think pretty much we both were on him early, like before the season even started. that he was our sleeper pick going into the year.
I loved him.
I
So
liked him very well. I just didn't think he would start this fast.
this is only a blessing. That
Kind
extra experience pays off, man.
he kind of gives me. I don't want to say this because I'm gonna get roasted by the C2C guys. He kind of gives me that Lenore Sellers vibe. Like no one talked about him, and now he's the guy. And then each year he's gonna climb up and be like, by his third year, he's gonna be that guy, that NFL guy that everybody wants.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got
Got a lot of
six
development.
six though. 6'6", a lot of development. We'll see where it goes. But don't let me get sidetracked and off on a tangent again.
Oh,
So I love to do that.
we've already been sidetracked a couple times, so
I see that. A couple of the tight ends, Christian Benacure was my top tight end going into last year for freshman. I don't know what kind of big role to expect with 3 great receivers also there, but he's one guy I can keep on the roster and keep moving with. Brahmer, if the dude hadn't been freaking hurt last year, I think we would have been way much higher on him this year, or way higher on him this year. But again, they're bringing in 2 new guys, so there's a chance that he already has that connection with Beck. We'll see how it goes. DeGroff wasn't bad for Washington as a freshman. Riddell, I'm still stashing, and of course, Lake McCree is on IR already, and probably not going to be on this roster much longer.
is this the one you got Lincoln Kieran?
No,
Oh,
that would happen to be the other one.
okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
don't worry.
that
That dude is freaking fantastic when it comes to the model. So yeah, I will get every share I can of him. I don't care if it's a first round pick.
okay. So I'm
So
going to say disclosure. I'm going to say the picks I like and the picks I hate. No hate towards the person who made them, but it's just personal preference for me. So
hey, we'll get into it. So I'll kind of go through mine real quick. First rounds came in second in the league. Again, a lot of my guys moved on, so I wanted to take an upside on a freshman receiver. The real question comes down to what playing time he gets this year, but I believe in the production. I believe in the profile. So Taylor, receiver out of Georgia, will end up being my first round pick.
I love that. I love that one.
Yeah, it's just Georgia receivers. It always kind of worries you a little bit.
At this point, he's such a good talent. I would take him 100 times at the end of the first.
Yeah, and it just, again, it comes down to how much playing time they give the kid. Second round, you obviously hate because we talked about Colorado earlier, but my boy, receiver 1 over here for Colorado, is going to be Traylon Miller.
Yeah. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
He came in as a freshman, was buried behind Travis Hunter, and oh gosh, why am I blanking on their older names?
Jimmy Horn.
Jimmy Horn. Who else was it?
Oh, what's up?
I feel so stupid forgetting this.
The one dude. Oh, off the top of my head, I can't think of his name.
Sorry,
He was
I'm pulling this up.
dude. He was good.
Wester, Shepard, Horn.
Wester.
Marion Miller was supposed to be also part of this rotation. He ends up playing all 13 games. Gets on the field, runs 200 plus routes, makes pretty good results with it. 32 catches, 277 yards, 3 touchdowns. Doing this as a true freshman, breaking through and just making playing time. That's hard to do when you got 4 at least older guys right there, plus Miller, who did get hurt.
Well, to be fair, I'm not bashing him as a player. I'm bashing the quarterback room who can't get him the ball.
Hey, thank you. You just, man, toss it up for me. So, what was Miller's role last year? He was more of that underneath, that crosser type guy. O'Marion can do that, but we know he normally is working more downfield. Traylon's going to be the nice, easy target because guess what? Colorado didn't bring in a ton of people that actually were proven guys. They got Hystera, they got Hakeem Williams, right? Like these are their proven guys, of course, along with Joseph Williams. Traylon over here as a true freshman in the spring was being asked to come out to the pro day and participate. The staff has to believe in him. If you're going to ask a true freshman to come out there and run routes in front of NFL scouts, that's a lot of trust not to screw up somebody's interview, basically.
Yeah, I think he screwed it up for himself, though. But that's besides the point.
Side topic. Side topic. We're gonna stay on track. Draylon, I'm high on him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on him as a player. I'm just not high on that overall room and quarterback. Maybe if they get Julian Lewis in there, I know people hate him, but if they get him in there, at least he can get the ball to the players, and we might see a different bit of Colorado offense. They might be more run heavy this year, and which concerns me a lot too.
Yeah, but I say this is one of those I had a bet on the player. Let the process play itself out. We'll figure out the situation later. 411. I like what you're talking about earlier. Sorry, Robinson. I've got him as a potential, kind of maybe a day two guy, depending on what he does this year. Had a pretty good year as a first full time starter for Baylor. I think he was I think he is the top returning Big 12 quarterback in most stats. So I thought it was really interesting that he was able to do that in his first year starting. Plus, he was hurt. He couldn't even run some of these games. So the fact that he does offer a little bit more running when healthy, I'm very curious if possibly, he can be that one of those guys that can supplement. Is Lagway still struggling? Is there a matchup I can't play Mateer or Hoover? One of those guys I can rotate in. So
Probably
that's
start
kind
him.
of the thought process.
I would probably start him every game.
We'll see. We'll see.
Even in tough games last year, I think he still put up like 20 to 25 points.
Believe so. And again, it's only a two quarterback league, so I have to kind of play with the matchups, figure out which ones I trust the most.
I'm surprised, honestly, that he isn't getting the hype that Mendoza's getting.
I am okay with that.
One of his
Mendoza, Indiana, man. About to say, everybody likes Indiana. They made it to the playoffs last year. They believe in that system with the coach, which props to Cignetti. He's proven it. But yeah, I kind of like Baylor. Big 12 we know is always wide open, and half the time they don't want to play defense anyway, so I'm all for it. Bryson Donaldson, we talked about him this offseason. What are your thoughts with my fifth round pick, or my fifth round pick there?
Well, I've heard a whole article about this guy. I love him overall as a player. I think I was probably one of or the first person this spring to mention him. That he's a potential. I think he's a potential running back too. He's definitely a CFF ad. If he's on your waiver wire right now, go grab him immediately. I don't know if I like how high you picked him, because I think he would have fell a little bit, but I like the overall.
There is no ADP out here, right? We talked about Joshua Moore. I took him in the 4th in one round, and you're taking him in this draft in the 10th.
Well, we don't. Me and you both know we don't do ADPs. Like,
no, especially early on.
We're known for being weird drafters, weird player takes. Like, that's just who we are. Kind of embraced it at this point.
I have to. Plus, finish second. It makes me feel good. And hey, do it again. Let's see what happens. I'll finish last next year, and then I'll go, okay, maybe I need to change my process. That's how it always works, right?
You got to change. Every year's an adaptability. You got to change what you're doing, change who you're drafting. It's a process for sure.
Most definitely. But yeah, I'm about to say he also had a great year one. About to say we know that my year one zero metrics, he crushed it. It was 5 out of 5. His high school profile, I didn't know about it until he started showing up on the year one. So I looked backwards. He was one of the few guys that has such an elite profile. He fell in with some of the other guys I talked about before, like Kyron Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon. Who else was it? It was another good one. Darius Geis. Like, he fell into high school production like those guys.
If he hits that, crazy.
Right, but as a pure CFF, hey, let's take that upside shot. I went through my roster earlier, right? I've mentioned Coleman, Martin, and I was like, kind of running thin here. So I was like, I got to take this starter. I feel like this is solid here. Receiver, took another one right there in the end of the 5th, 5'11", Travis Smith Jr. You got some inside Tennessee scoops here. I feel like I had to take another freshman swing here. Is there anything I need to be concerned here? Positive?
The only thing you got to hearing about is who's throwing him the ball. I don't know.
That's Joey Aguilar. Come on.
I've heard it's Merck. like this might be
Wow.
news to everybody, but I've heard Merck's the guy that they're going with. I heard Aguilar's just there for depth. Um, I don't know
I'm
if it's
okay with
true.
this.
This is what I'm hearing coming out of the camp. So maybe it might be. I might have broke the news to people who I shouldn't have, but
That's okay.
that's my take. That it's just, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think Merck's better than Aguilar anyways. Aguilar is a player that forces the ball a lot, has a lot of interceptions, and I don't see him playing very well in the ACC or the SEC.
I feel that.
So I think they might as well roll with the young guy.
I am not opposed as a Merck supporter. I've been backing him a little bit in the chat, so I feel that.
I have to. I know everybody's calling for McIntyre, but I think Merck's a better player.
Yeah, I won't argue that one at all.
But we don't need to get on that topic because I could talk all day about this. So.
Right. So I was gonna say the only guy I knew really receiving wise that's coming back that's kind of scared me. Scared. Someone's got to be out there. Was that Chris Brazel, the second kid, had decent production. Right, was second on the team, and what was he second on the team on? Second on the team in routes ran. Only put up 333 yards. Right, it's just it wasn't anything special. But they did lose Dante Thornton Jr. They lost Squirrel White, Drew
And
McCoy.
they still have Staley though. Staley's the one
Staley,
that's
the tight end. Okay, I like that.
Staley's a wide receiver. Braylon Staley, I think is his
Oh,
name.
no, I'm thinking a different Staley. Ethan Davis is the tight
Ethan
end I was thinking about.
getting team too, but I like Staley as a wide receiver. I do see Travis Smith starting year one. There
That's the
was
goal, man.
They need wide receivers bad.
And he did actually check out pretty good in my system of high
He's
school production.
a bigger guy. He's pretty tall, ain't he?
Yes, I believe about 6'3", I believe, 180-ish. So
The
kind of
typical,
that taller, slender frame that Tennessee uses.
yeah, the typical wide receiver for Tennessee, a tall guy who's not very fast, who can just do jump balls pretty much.
Hey, if he's catching passes, so I'm happy. Speaking of tight end, though, I decided to go ahead and take the old man Joe Warrior next round, 6'11". Honestly, I kind of like it. He returns to the same system.
I think he's a
Go
top
ahead.
five. He's a top five tight end in my rankings. I'm pretty sure.
So to be able to get that, pair it with Justin Jolie, I believe this league has a very small, like 0.5 bonus for tight end catches. So, every little bit helps in this case. But kind of locked that down between him and Jolie. I was like, okay, don't got to stress. Is any of my other guys that I talked about, these younger guys in the background, are they ready? Don't worry about it. Let them develop. Let Royer come in. I mean, again, he had 50 catches, 522 yards last year. Like, we don't, like you said, we don't got a Warren that we're looking out to. We don't got a Fannin. That could be near the top of the league when it comes to the position. So 6'11", I was like, I've locked down my position with two guys at least.
Yeah, you have to have at least two going into the season. I mean, I like to play the waivers for tight ends, but you gotta have a guy that you can just rely on week to week.
Yep. And I didn't want to stress it. If Jolie gets hurt for some reason, I've got the guy. Junior Vandeross. I'm not as familiar with this. I feel like you've done a little bit more background on him. Talk me through. I was just told like this dude is like a great CFF asset, and I
He
need a receiver help.
he's a wonderful CFF asset. They had another receiver last year who went to the NFL. Oh, if you didn't put me on the, if I didn't get put
I'm
on,
pulling it up. I got you.
um,
Let's see. John Newton.
yeah,
J. Newton.
I think he went to the
Yeah, it
Chiefs
has to be.
or somewhere like that. But him and Vandeross last year, they would keep rotating. One would have a 30-point fantasy game, and then the next week the other guy would have 30 points. So they pretty much were eating into each other's production. I think with one gone, I think he's going to skyrocket. I think he's going to be the guy that they rely on early. I haven't really truly dived into their whole wide receiver room, but I know returning production, he's probably the best returning production at the lower end line.
Most definitely.
And
So
he's a wide receiver one in CFF. I don't know about NFL upside. I haven't looked that far into him.
Not
Um,
worried about it.
but based on CFF, he's definitely a wonderful asset, especially the seventh round of supplemental draft.
Yeah, I was about to say I couldn't complain because again I got the return and production pulled up. He had 957 yards. Next closest is 148. Like everybody else that basically produced is gone.
Yeah.
Newton and Torres were the main big two.
And then
Uh,
you
they
still
did
have.
bring in Trayvon Rudolph though,
I'm not too concerned with that.
right?
He could probably eat into a little bit of production, but I just don't see him being that guy like Newton was.
I understand that, but yeah. So I was like, I need receiver help here. Jump back over round 8. I was like, screw it. We're shooting for another upside play when it comes to CFF running back production. Dylan Carson, running back over at Air Force.
This one's all
Wasn't
you.
real familiar. Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't really familiar with this, but then I think it was Chris K brought him up. I was like, who in the world is this kid? Like, who are you talking about? I even asked because I think he put it on X or somebody put it on X, and I was like, who's this placeholder for? And they're like, no, like go look him up and everything. His last 4 games when he finally started getting a workload, that was the reason everybody's buying in. Uh, Air Force has had some guys in the past couple years where they actually do sit up and they produce pretty well. If he is going to be the leading returning guy, I mean, it's Air Force. They didn't bring in anybody right here, and he's the one who has the
They
most
don't.
production returning.
I don't think they can. Can they? Can I don't think military schools can bring transfers in too much.
Right. So like there's not a concern here if somebody pulling in ahead of him. It's just gonna be him and Hayes at quarterback getting most of the workload. So it's just an upside swing. Kind of similar to the next one too. Zach
Yeah,
Palmer Smith.
one I do not know much about. I've seen a lot of people hyping him up. I
A
haven't really.
lot of people. And it's a scheme. Not so much him. It's a scheme at UL Monroe that's
Yeah,
been hyped.
he was a higher end recruit, wasn't he, compared to what they normally get? I think I got like a little bit of the backstory, but I just don't believe in this. Like, unless he just goes crazy, then I don't believe.
That's that's a hope. Take a swing. I didn't double down and grab multiple guys in the system. I took the swing on the one guy I believe that could be it. Just understanding, hey, if it's a swing and a miss, we're moving on. I'm not going to sit there and let him be a roster clogger because he doesn't have an NFL future. You go ask any draft analyst right now, he's probably never even been heard of.
I was going to say they
So,
probably know who this kid is. I mean, but that's how most of the high end people work. But after they get
mhm.
into college and start producing, that's when they start getting on the radar. I don't see it for this guy though. I see him strictly as maybe a CFF asset, but I think him as a mid. I don't see him ever being that top tier guy that we talk about every week.
Yeah, and I'll kind of lump these last couple because I do want to jump over to the board. The
Um,
end of the ninth, I did take Kevin Jennings. 10th round, I grabbed C.J. Smith, receiver out of Memphis. Rodney Fields, running back, Oklahoma State. Personal my guy here. I think he's going to be another Oklahoma State running back that just turns out the yardage that I'm looking for late. Trent Walker was a leading receiver that's returning back to Oregon State this year. And quarterback play might have dipped a little bit, but he was just such a massive target share. I'm going to bet on that. And then Iowa State's they produce some receivers. So Xavier Townsend swapping over from UCF. Decided to swing on that. Out of those guys, I'm going to give the floor to you real quick. Any of them intrigue you?
CJ Smith is one that I actually broke down not too long ago with Volume Pigs, and we both love him going into the season. I think he's definitely a sleeper pick. Uh, I haven't seen anybody draft him though, so this is interesting to see you actually took him. Um,
Right after Joshua Moore was picked. I remember who your 10th round was.
Rodney Fields is actually getting some steam as running back one there. I've seen some
As he should.
taking first team reps. Um, Xavier Townsend's a little weird to me. I know you're taking a shot on him, but I think they added another wide receiver to that room that might push him back a little bit. But it's definitely worth a shot.
Maybe. You're talking about Chase Sowell. He transferred up
I think there's another.
from East Carolina, I believe.
I think there's another one that got up there too. I think it's Chase Sowell, and I think there's one more that came.
Let's see. Nope, it's just Chase Allen and Townsend.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about
So
Arizona State. I know
the
they.
reason, yeah, they added Jalen Moss. That was
Yeah,
who they added.
that's what I thought they had. I get them mixed up.
Yeah, Townsend. I'll be honest, he was apparently their best receiver all spring. I was like,
It's worth
15
it.
round pick. We just saw two guys with Noel and Higgins go off in the same year. If Brahmer's not going to be part of this, maybe Sowell and Townsend step in as those top two, and I've got one or two.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it. Then if he's been going off, I'm not big on spring reports just because there's a lot of people like kind of push players up and down.
Oh
But
yeah, there is.
if I like it overall, like if he does perform at least to a 15th round, I mean, if you get a wide receiver 3 out of him, you pretty much got your value.
Right, and I need a depth everywhere, so I was not picky here on this part. Let's see. How's that look on your screen, real quick?
That looks good.
All right, so I'll go ahead and pull up the board. We'll spend at least 15 minutes, chit chatting about this. Roughly show the half of the board. So first round, I'm not doing this all rounds, but I feel like first round or two, maybe we can talk through this. You had Bryce Underwood, quarterback to Michigan. 102, Keelan Russell, quarterback to Alabama. 103, Dorian Moore, receiver Oregon. Chalk. Those are the same three guys in some order
Yeah,
always.
the order rotates a little bit, but I've seen all 3 of those guys first 3 off the
Yep.
board.
I think Underwood's been the most consistent, but yeah, it's those three in some order.
Then
104, Jamin St. Clair, quarterback Ohio State. 105, Deuce Knights, quarterback to Auburn. 106 we talked about was your boy Bryson Washington going to Baylor. 107 right after, another running back, Usman Chroma, freshman running back heading to Florida State. 108, Husan Longstreet, quarterback to USC. Jerome Miles, receiver to Texas A&M. Quincy Porter, receiver to Ohio State. We'd already talked about Taylor with me. And Bo Jackson, running back to Ohio State. Turn it over to you. First round, thoughts, what stood out to you? Good, bad? Just give it to us.
Longstreet's too low.
All right, so
105.
104.
105. I'll take him. I'll take him over St. Clair.
I agree with that.
Eight Deuce Knight, so I don't even think he should be up here. I think he should be at the end of the round. But that's just my personal preference. I mean, people like him, but I don't like him.
I understand that.
Then let's see who else we got. Jerome Miles seems a little high to me.
Is it the talent or the injury that scares you on him?
Concerning me, I think he's a second round pick. I don't think he's a first rounder. But other than that, I mean, I like the rest of the picks. I mean, Bo Jackson's a little crazy to me. But I mean, who else is? I mean, I would take probably Gideon Davis there over Jackson.
But yeah, about to say, I do like Gideon right there. I agree. Longstreet, Chroma, I thought those were really good values right there. I would consider them as early as 104, depending on team setup right there. Everybody else, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about Porter. Ohio State. We'll see how that rolls out, but there's a chance that year 1-0, and just for a first round pick, you got to kind of be aware of it. Again, I did take a Georgia receiver, so just you got to have conviction in the player, basically. Gideon Davidson, second round, so we'll kind of breeze through this. Sky Mills Knight, running back to Ole Miss. Ole Miss receiver Caleb Cunningham. Texas receiver Lockett. Davison, running back to Clemson. Receiver, this might be the lowest I've seen him go in quite some time. Latsier Brooks to Alabama. Harlan Berry, running back to LSU. 207, tight end Lincoln Cure. Bowers 2.0, Kansas State. Vernell Brown, the third to Florida. Ackland Deer to Bama, running back. Kamario Taylor, quarterback to Mississippi State. Dre Long, we already covered. And Matt Zollers, quarterback to Mizzou. So I kind of zoom this out just a hair. talk to me a second round. You like Davidson? Is he your running back too? The class?
No, he's my running back 1.
Oh, I like it. He's my
Yeah,
2, so I
I,
like that.
I'm a little weird when it comes to rankings. I don't. If everyone's overhyping a player, I normally downgrade them. I don't want to be like other people, and I think Gideon Davis is going to be a wonderful running back for Clemson. I think
Yep.
he's going to start year 1. Well, Chroma can too, because Florida State's just horrible, and they need all the production they can get. But I think
Yeah.
they will outperform Chroma this year and going forward, and will be a higher draft pick in the future.
I'm all for it. I've got a couple shares of Davidson, so I like that. Anything else second round? I'm just going to open it up. Second round. Was there anything else good, bad that you like, dislike besides Miller? We'll talk. We've already covered that.
Ackland Deer, I don't understand that. I don't even have him ranked as a top 10 running back. Let me
Got
see.
him
I
up
got to
there,
think.
but let's be honest. This running back class isn't great.
No, this running back class is horrible. Matt Zoller's at the end of the second is a little wild too. I know he's a Missouri guy. Their room sucks, but I don't see him getting on the field for Preble, who just came in. They just paid a lot of money to get that guy, so I don't see him starting unless he just absolutely sucks.
Which, let's be honest, Bo Pribula has yet to really start. So
Yeah, I just don't see it. And Lazier Brooks, I haven't seen him go outside the first. I know a lot of people follow Campus to Cannon. I know they love him.
I do too. I do too.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like I know a lot of people love him, and they did not let him go outside the first. So this draft was done early. So I doubt now in a supplemental draft you'll get him anywhere close to this. I'm pretty sure he's going at the end of the first in every draft I did.
I just watched him go 107.
I actually just
I've
watched
seen
him.
him as early as 105.
I watched him go at 201. I think it's the lowest I've seen him since this draft.
I remember when I got him in the 4th. Gosh, it was nice when I could get him in the 4th. Vernell Brown third is kind of the guy. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of a little early just because he feels like a Eugene Wilson clone. I loved Lincoln Cure. Obviously, I took him
Yeah,
in the first of a different draft.
and Kier's definitely a good pick there. I'm surprised he.
And
I just don't draft tight ends, so
yeah, and I already had Jolie, so I was like, I don't have to stress that in the first round. I really needed some receiver help, which is why I shot for 2 back to back since I didn't have a third round pick. Brooks, Davidson, like those two. I like Taylor. I just think I could have got him around later.
yeah, I don't think
So
about Taylor.
I like him as a great upside swing, just second round. But that particular guy, he had plenty of picks, so I don't blame him for going this method. Third round, I'm not going to read off these because, again, I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit for us. Anybody good, bad, third round that you kind of stood out
Let me
for
see.
right here?
I gotta scroll.
Okay.
I gotta scroll in a
Yeah,
little bit so I can see it. Let's see.
kind of going to go back and forth for you.
I Dyer Hill.
All right, 309, Derek Hill,
Don't
junior running
understand
back,
that one.
Oregon.
I do not understand that one.
Okay,
I think this was before the Mackie Hughes transfer too.
it
Um,
was.
but I still hate it regardless. I don't think he was ever going to be a running back in that room that would produce. I don't understand the pick. I mean, there's a lot of different positions after this that I would take before him.
All right.
Actually, he would probably be on my radar in a 15-round supplemental. I would never take this guy. And him taking him in the third just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's early off season. Anything good stand out to you here? How do
Uh,
you like the value? Kind of scroll back
I
up.
like Jordan.
Okay,
I I like Bryce Baker. I think he's definitely still at this level. Elijah Thomas is a guy that we both love.
love.
He hasn't came out of the third round in any drafts I've ever did.
I
Um,
got one share in the 4th. That was clutch.
I almost got one, but then PJ begged me not to take him. So because he already knew my draft, so he knew I was about to take him. I I don't want to get off topic, but I do think that he is a very similar to. This might sound like high praise, but CD Lamb. I like him like that level of player.
Yeah. Let's just say their high school outlook is almost identical.
I was looking into that, and they are very, very, very similar. And I've been taking him everywhere, and I hope I get the upside out of him. But
And I hope so.
even if he's a low end CD, I'll take it.
Yeah. I, I, I I'm not going to complain. You mentioned Jordan, so in case anybody's listening to this on podcast, I want to go back and mention him. Wayman Jordan coming up JUCO routes, now heading to USC. It looks like he is the leading running back there, projected right now. 305 is kind of where he's been going. I agree. Elijah Thomas at 308. I love the value there. I'm intrigued by Dallas Wilson. I've yet to grab a share. I know PJ
I haven't.
is sniping any share he can get.
Yeah, I haven't grabbed any shares either. I noticed that he has been going higher than Vernon Brown now, though.
Yes, so
We
that
did.
did finally correct.
Yeah, we did this draft way early into the off season, so I know a lot of players are going to be in very weird spots now.
Yep. Well, we'll keep this moving. Well, fourth round. Can't say Simmons. Can't say Robertson because we've talked about these two. Anybody else in the fourth round stood out for you?
Let me see.
Let's start off here. 401 was Marion Miller.
Eliza Williams. I like it, but I don't think I'll take him over Sadiq.
Agreed.
CJ Wiley. Did
And
his
if
pick
anybody's wondering, Sadiq went the next pick after.
did I love the Jace Clarizio pick. I've been taking him everywhere. I don't understand that kill Smith. Did that do double dip in Oregon backfield?
Yes. Except for Smith as a quarterback, freshman recruit
Oh,
this year.
he's a freshman quarterback that I don't think will ever amount to anything. Um, he might have to transfer out. Apparently,
Possibility.
Oregon's on this whole bringing transfers in, and I mean Dante Moore's the guy this year, but I think after he leaves, they're probably going to bring in another transfer in. They signed Bryce Beaver,
Yep. We
which
officially got him committed. Hadn't signed him, got him committed.
oh well, committed. I forgot that. In this time and age, commit don't mean nothing.
Nope, you can change it 9 days if you want to. Yeah, I'll keep it quick, simple for me. Austin Simmons, I had him teed up in case he fell to 411. I plan on taking him. You can get multiple years. This guy, system at Ole Miss, loves to put up guys that can produce. He is on the younger side. So, again, I wasn't opposed to this. I know he's had time in the system, spent 2 years in the background. Looked good when he played.
I wrote a whole article about him, so I know a lot. I don't see him as a high upside NFL guy.
Nah, probably not.
I I see him as like a two. I think I compared him to Tua. Just because he's left-handed and he has like the fast release, and I mean any left-hander is going to be compared to like a Tua or.
Yep. There's a short list of left-handies they're going to try and match up with. Yeah, out of that, you've already covered Clarizio.
I love him.
The rest,
He's probably going to be starting running back for them.
yeah. Fifth round. Honestly, I'm not sure I'd be buying in on a tight end from Florida State. So Landon Thomas, he did go in the fifth round, 503. I don't know. Especially when we already talked about Terrence Carter, you took later. I took Joe Royer later. I just feel like you're swinging for something in the system that might not turn out very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're good. I was going to say Yannick Smith. He honestly might be one of my favorite picks in the fifth round. I love it. He stood out in high school, had a great year one. Eastern Carolina, like I said, Chase Sowell's now over at Iowa State. So Yannick has a chance to step into that top role for East Carolina with Hauser coming back. I think this dude offers a lot, and only as a true sophomore, he shows out. There's a chance he just does what Sowell did and moves up to P4.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I don't really like those type of players, but I think that he could be a really good ad for somebody in the supplemental.
hmm And again, this is fifth round. So in the fifth round, was there anything stood out to you?
Let me look here. I like the Marcel Reed. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see.
Yeah, him, Donaldson, and Travis Smith Jr. off the board. We already talked through those guys.
Isaiah Horton.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on.
Everybody already knows. Like, he gets so much hate, but he had a really good spring.
He did.
I think he's the wide receiver X for Alabama. He was actually roommates with Ty Simpson at one point, I think. I can't remember what I was reading an article on it, and they're really good buddies. I'm expecting a big year for him. I could I ain't gonna say it, but I think he'll have a better year than Jeremy Bernard. Um,
That, that's possible. I don't think
I
he's
was gonna say
overpassing
Ryan
Ryan
Williams, but I'm
Williams.
a little
No.
hesitant because I don't want to get roasted. Um,
Yeah, that's one where somebody's gonna randomly find this and clip it, and then you're gonna be the next dude on Twitter whose context is misinterpreted here.
yeah, I was thinking about it. Nah, I better not do that. I do think it, but I'm not gonna say it.
Well, I appreciate that because I don't know. That's a spicy bold take. Again, I already talked through the fifth, sixth round. We'll kind of keep this moving along. Easton Messer feels like a really good value at the top of the six. Again, kind of similar to what I was doing, talking about Vander Ross in the seventh. I think that's just a pure CFF. Let's get one of the top dudes, lock them down. I like some others, which you end up taking, and trying not to mention my guy. I
It's
think
hard
Alvin
not.
Henderson. Yeah, I know. I think Alvin Henderson was interesting right here, but I don't mind his production because it's just insanely high, even if it is against low competition. It's what you expect. If he's that good, you expect him to absolutely shred the lower competition that he was facing.
Did you say Henderson? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, 6'12", running back for Auburn.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, not the other Henderson that was
I
going
like the
there.
other Henderson better.
All right, they'll share with us. I'm not too familiar with this one from Buffalo.
He he's a low end guy, but he's a CFF first round pick. Um, his production is insane. I think I think I have him as like a running back 5 in my rankings for CFF. So get him in this low in a draft, I didn't even know he was available, but he's definitely a great pick at this juncture.
Yeah, about to say, I mean, if he's going as a CFF top 12 running back, I mean, get him in the six. Seems like this was when everybody kind of officially swapped over and started going. Some people officially swapped over and started going CFF upside. So,
Yeah, that's what it looks like based on the rest of the board.
yeah, no hate on that one. Seventh round. Again, this is where I took Vander Ross. You got Watkins from receiver from Ole Miss.
I like Coleman,
All right. Yep, receiver
and I like
Matthew
Moulton too.
Coleman.
Is Moulton there at the first round pick?
Yes, 701. Anyone who doesn't know Moulton, potential RB1 for Iowa coming up this year. So I don't
Yeah,
hate swinging for that, especially if they,
if they run like
Gronkowski ends up being decent.
speaking of, oh, he's up there at the top. I guess speaking of Gronkowski, I like him a
Yeah,
lot too. But
he
Moulton,
went
I feel like
fifth
he's
round.
yeah, I like him. I do think Moulton will be like a Caleb Johnson. I don't know if he'll get the true production like Caleb Johnson. But I do see him being a very similar back to him. And I do see like I don't know, is he a sophomore or is he a
Moulton
junior?
it says sophomore on Fantrax, so we know how Fantrax is. This is technically, though, his third year, according to the stats.
He only has one more year of eligibility, which I mean I could see him rising up boards, but I don't see I just see him
Yeah.
as a CFF outset as of now.
looks like his first year he only played 4 games, so he is technically eligible for 2 years, including this year.
Well, that works. I could see him rising up. I don't know if he'll get the production like Caleb Johnson, but
Technically 3 years.
but I think he will be a good CFF, maybe running back 2 to running back 3 range.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say out of the 7th rounds, I mean Mike Alhado, Hawaii quarterback. I mean him or Colton Joseph, quarterback for Old Dominion, right? I got that right.
Yeah, I think so. Colton Joseph.
Yeah, so I mean, just 2 honestly top 12 CFF quarterback shots right here in the 7th. Don't hate that at all. Let's see, where are we at in time? So we're at an hour and 5 minutes. I'm going to just kind of open it up to you. Finishing it out 8 through 15, because 8 round was when we started having some guys final picks right here. I'm going to zoom in for you real quick. Let's look at the first half of the board. So picks 101 through 106 slot range. Any of these guys kind of stand out to you from the 8th round through the 15th?
Boggs. I like Javon Boggs from Florida State. I think he's going to be a guy that they have to lean on. I don't. His ADPs actually went up since then. I think he's going in like the 6th to 8th rounds.
Yeah,
so I think it's great value in the 14th round or 13th round.
Yeah, 13th round to get a freshman receiver from Florida State with a lot of upside. Don't hate that at all. Anybody else?
And I think that's pretty much it that I've seen that I liked at that point. Maybe Yassam Willis. I think he's the lead back at Syracuse. I'm going in the 10th round. But other than that, I do not see too much that I like for the first 6.
Fair enough. And again, we can't not supposed to be mentioning our own. The Gill receiver for Syracuse, he's had a lot of buzz potentially as their receiver 1. He went in this particular draft 10-02. Don't hate that if you're swinging for that upside in case Syracuse does keep going with that pass-heavy offense. Besides the names that you've already mentioned, yeah, first 6 picks slots. I mean, Quasi Gilmore went 805. I'm very interested in seeing how that goes. You know, Fanico can end up being halfway decent. There's a chance he is his receiver 1, so we'll see where that falls. What about for the back half of this particular league? So picks 107 through 112 range.
Let me look. That's your picks. So this is mine and your picks, so it's going to be hard to. Carlos Hernandez, I like a lot, and that might be about it. Other than Jordan Dwyer, those are the 2 that I do like. Maybe Luke Nickel. I don't see him amount to nothing with Miami, considering Darian Coleman's coming in, hopefully, if he don't flip. But other than that, that's about the only 2 that I see that I would personally take.
All right. Now I can't remember who Ted McMillan was a placeholder for, but obviously Ted McMillan was not a draft pick if anybody's watching this. For me, when we had to look back through this second part, where'd he go? Malachi Tony went 11-10. He's had a lot of buzz potentially as the slot receiver for Miami. Carson Beck is going to probably need some help right there, so I didn't mind that pick at all. 8-12, you had Hudson Clement for Illinois. Did really well last year before he transferred over. I think Luke Altmaier is decent enough, solid enough. You know, he had Pat Bryant get buzz, and I think Illinois' schedule this year has a chance to set up like Indiana did last year.
Yeah, it's a very easy schedule.
I don't hate that at all. I think it works out really well for him. And let's see, who else was I going to highlight? Come on. And the last one, I'll kind of wrap it up. Bo Walker, 12-10, running back for Georgia. It took forever for him to get into the system. This was one of those where he wasn't even in the system at the start of this draft. He got added during the draft. And there's a chance he is the RB2 at Georgia this year because Roderick Robertson can't stay healthy. Branson, we saw what happened with that scenario. I just don't trust it. And Nate Frazier apparently has a fumbling issue.
To be fair, I have seen Bo Walker. I've did a couple supplementals where he's not even been taken.
Yep.
I just took him in the fourth in a sub, and I got bashed for it. Um, but I don't
Maybe,
really care that much about being bashed and take the players that I think has high upside. So I think this is a great pick right here at this level, though.
yeah, because again, I don't think Bowens is an issue either. Chauncey Bowens, Cash Jones, we've heard that name a couple times, but really? So it's, to me, it's either Bo Walker or it's going to be Josh McCray, who, speaking of Illinois earlier, got brought over. So, I mean,
And he's
there's a
not good.
chance.
He's not very good though. So
He's not
and
great, but
apparently there's a big legal issue about that, but that's besides the point. Like tampering
I,
issues.
yeah, I saw that. So, yeah, it's just things like this. Again, just I kind of wanted to show for people like ADP's all over the place. We've talked good, bad, anywhere from first round through 15th. These later picks were just like, are we interested? No, yes.
Yeah, the only advice I can
That's,
give people is after you get to a certain point, just take your guys. Don't matter about ADP at that point. Just get your guys, fill your team out the way you want to fill it out, and don't listen to all the people saying you're crazy for taking these players. Um, that's my whole forte. That's how I built my whole system. Um, I'm known as the guy who takes crazy players and turns them into fantasy gold. And I don't turn them into fantasy gold. They just become. I don't understand it, but like LaQuint Allen, Wayshawn Parker, Damon Claiborne. There's some of the 3-star guys that I took out of high school, and they
how many
end up
more drafts you got this year?
like 50.
Jeez. I was gonna say you got to tease the public. Is there a name 3-star running back wise you think is gonna be next?
I have
If you're willing
actually.
to share with 50 drafts, still to go.
Well, I don't really care about that. People take my guys all the time. It's not really a 3-star running back this year. It's a 3-star wide receiver, and we all know who that is. But I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
real fan of Shane Rosenthal, a UCLA wide receiver. Um, it's actually funny because UCLA asked him after Nico transferred there. They're the first person that asked how it affected him and interviewed him first out of all the wide receivers. So that just goes to show you the faith that he has in the room, and I think we're going to be in store. That wide receiver room needs help a lot, and I feel like he fits the role very well. So we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. And if he does pop off, just tag me with all your players. Show me that you got him. Because I haven't seen anybody take him other than people that follow me. I don't even
I
think.
did I did mention him. I think it was somewhere in an article at some point though. I highlighted him. I said, "Hey, this you got it right. The production from high school is up there. So if you get him this late, yeah, it's definitely worth the upside."
But yeah, I think that's about it I've got for this. So like, I don't have any tips or anything else that I can share. At the time, I have some more articles coming out about the supplemental drafts and stuff. So I'll list all the tips in there so people can see them instead of rewatching the video over and over again, trying to get them out.
And we did also include an article last week, right? It was a waiver article.
Yeah, it was. I think it was last week. We dropped. We highlighted some players that we like after the supplemental. So
Hmm.
if you want to check that out, you can. There's some great players in there. I don't even think many of them were taken in this draft. I don't think any of them actually were
None of
taken
them
in this
were.
draft.
Yep, that was our rule. We had to pick players who weren't taken in this draft, but also, weren't rostered across most other leagues, just randomly fell through this crack.
I mean, that's something that we did last year too. Is we took players that were owned by I think less than 5% of leagues each week, and we would do waiver claims on them, show you who you
Hmm.
need to take, and a lot of them ended up popping off, and some of them are actually like the top CFF players this year. Um, so if that's another series that'll come back this year. I don't know if being a Woody's going to collab on that or we're going to do it separate, but just keep a
Well,
follow on it, and we'll figure it out before the season starts.
hey, I can't say it any better myself. Well, anyone that's listening and watching, we definitely appreciate it. Make sure, again, check out Substack, Dynasty Matty Ice. He's so close to 200 subscribers. Twitter, same handle, right? Dynasty Matty Ice.
Yeah, I believe so. I think I own that now.
So check him out. He's getting close. Of course, you can always check me out on Twitter @_Debbie Scouts. Check out anything called Approaching the Pros. I've got a couple articles also. I start working with Campus Canton now. So hit us up if you like C2C, Debbie, CFF. One of the two of us, if not both of us, can probably help you out, whatever you're trying to look for, whatever you're trying to do. Until next time, again, make sure you check out them stats, watch that film. Let's try and go find these guys who are going to be one day, hopefully, approaching the pros. See you, everybody.